Thanks, Yvette. I'm here at the St. Vincent De Paul dining room and facility here at 420 West Watkins, here at the urban garden at the north of the facility next to the freeway. And I'm here with Tony, and he's going to tell us a little bit about what they do with composting and the food waste and how they reimagined a garden back here in the back of the complex. Hi, Tony.
Hi, Terry. Thanks for coming out today. So we've been working here with Kaleidoscope Juice, a local organic juicery and restaurant that provides us with about 1,000 pounds of food waste.
Wow.
3 times a week.
What kind of food waste?
So we're using juice pulp from their all organic cold pressed juices. We're also going to be using trimmings, like you can see here. We've got some pineapple, some celery, any kind of scraps like cucumber or carrot peels, and those.
What's that brown stuff underneath?
So that's going to be just like a standard chipped wood or mulch. We're using that as our high carbon in our composting. It's a really easy, basic process that you could do at home. You're going to need 4 things really: high carbon, your high nitrogen, which is going to be our food scraps, air, and water. And what we're doing here is just really a natural decomposition that's controlled to take what was once a waste product and take it back and make it into something valuable, not only monetarily, but for our garden purposes.
Well, I noticed we're just here on this vacant lot. And did you put anything underneath this compost pile?
For these particular piles, what we do is we start them with about a 3-inch base of high carbon. A lot of that's going to be scrap from the garden that actually has died off. So we've got a lot of old sunflowers or old plants that have really dried up, and that's going to be our base. But as far as prepping the ground with any kind of ground cover or plastic, it's just basically directly on.
So somebody at home could do this real easily.
Somebody at home should do this. Everybody should be doing this. This is something that it's 100% a great way to not only mitigate landfill use, but also to create a product that's really going to green up your space.
Terrific. How long will it take here to make a product you could put in your garden?
You know, it really depends. You can really age the product anywhere from about 3 to 18 months. Because we're using the juice pulp, which is already very broken down because of the cold pressing that Kaleidoscope does. If I just use juice pulp, I could probably have a product ready in about 3 months. I tend to go more like 6 to 9 months though, just so we get it nice and composted, and we've got a really usable, absorbable product.
So this material you're going to take, and we're going to go look at the garden where you use this compost material, right?
Great, absolutely.
So it's like a full circle right here.
100%.
Right. Okay, so now we've moved from the compost area over here to the garden, Tony. It's been 3 months to a year. What do you use the material for?
Well, the compost really is just a basic fertilizer. We're going to use it as a top dress or as a soil amendment when we do new plantings, or for existing plantings. We can actually just go and really just basically spread it around the plants, and that's going to really put a lot of the nutrients that were in the food scraps and have broken down and become available through the composting process right back into the soil.
For the plants itself.
Adding organic matter to your soil in Arizona is going to be one of the best things you can possibly do.
And that helps the water too, and it helps the plants.
Absolutely helps with the water retention and also drainage. There's so many benefits to composting.
Yeah.
We could really go on forever with it.
Now, you see a bunch of different plants here, and you might say a little bit about what kind of plants, but what do you do with the food that you create here?
So at the St. Vincent De Paul, they're serving about 4,000 meals a day out of this kitchen. This is Arizona's largest commercial kitchen, and this services 5 different St. Vincent De Paul locations. So about 4,000 meals a day. Since January 1, out of this garden alone, we've done at least 5,000 pounds of fresh fruits and vegetables that have gone directly into there. We will also be doing some type of farmer's market coming up in the fall. So a portion of the produce would go to that, and then the funds would go back into the garden to make this more of a sustainable enterprise.
Well, that's terrific. That shows a full circle, which is all what composting is all about, and the food scraps.
100%.
Yeah, that's
and then we've also just started to get some of the waste from the St. Vincent kitchen. As they work on a donation basis, there is going to be some food that just arrives and it's no good. So what we're trying to do is make the best of those situations and bring that waste out here.
Instead of coming to a landfill. We're
Absolutely.
imagining a different way of using the food.
100%.
That's great.
So we're really trying to kind of be a forerunner here of doing the composting, creating green spaces, producing food on empty lots, and really creating a more sustainable charity, Phoenix, and in general system for the businesses
That's
we're working
terrific.
with.
And that's what Reimagine Phoenix is all about, is getting more partners together, nonprofits, public entities, and private entities together to divert as much material as we can from a landfill. And reimagining a more sustainable Phoenix.
100%, and we've already put over 100,000 pounds of pulp, juice pulp, and trimmings into this space. And as you can see, we started off with a dirt lot, and now it's definitely enhanced the soil and the land to the point now where it's very green.
Now, we were talking just a little bit, and we talked about when we first got here, all those composters along the wall. How can somebody do that at home?
So composting in general, you're going to have 4 elements. You're going to have your browns, which is going to be your high carbon material. I like to think of it as kind of your crunchies, so that could be straw or dead leaves or wood chips. And then you've got your greens, which are going to be your high nitrogen material. That's going to be your food waste, the juice pulp, actually manures too, from grass-eating animals. And then you've got water and air, okay? I think the number one thing that people need to do when composting at home is make sure you have enough browns, because the greens is gonna be what kind of attracts the bugs and creates the stink. You wanna make sure you cover your greens with the browns.
Turning it as much as possible.
Absolutely, turning it as well to get the oxygen in there, but you wanna kind of cover the rotting part so you don't have the stink or the bugs.
Why is nitrogen bad? Too much nitrogen?
Well, it can actually burn the plants.
That's right.
So you want to make sure your compost is finished before applying it, because nitrogen is hot chemically and will actually create a lot of yellowing in the leaves and can literally burn the plants, burn the roots.
If somebody at home needed to learn how to do compost and how to do it better, how can they figure out?
Well, you can come volunteer with me.
That's right.
Here at the St. Vincent De Paul. I like the internet a lot. There is a lot of, you kind of have to do your searching through the internet because there is information that's good or bad. But I would recommend just searching on the web.
So thank you very much, Tony, for inviting us here and being here at the garden. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
And this is all about Reimagine Phoenix. And this garden and composting tells you what to do with organics and green waste and food waste at your house. So back to you, Yvette.